It's the Pro Mazda driver's second race of the weekend. Oliver Askew, after sweeping this weekend 1 year ago, starts on pole for the second time this weekend, but he's got a very hungry and a very successful Harrison Scott right behind him. Scott winning the last 2 races on the season. Now it's time to get these engines fired up and go racing. It's my pleasure now to introduce to you today's honorary starter, guest of Royal Purple, Victor Salas, as he gives us those most famous words in racing.
On behalf of everyone at Royal Purple Synthetic Oil, supporting the Lupus Foundation of America, drivers, start your Mazda engines.
It's time to go Mazda Road to Indy racing here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Thanks, guys.
So it's time to go racing once again in the Mazda Road to Indy. Race number 2 of 4 on the day. This is the second step up the Mazda Road to Indy ladder. Pro Mazda. And their field is ready to go. Yesterday, Harrison Scott won a thrilling race over Oliver Askew. Rinus VeeKay also on the podium. Rob will look to see more entertaining racing here from these young drivers.
Champagne getting ready to spray here at Victory Lane for USF 2000. Tremendous run for those pilots. Kyle Kirkwood doing a great job. Again, welcoming all those of you who have come to the racetrack and those of you listening and watching live on the Mazda Road to Indy app. 14 drivers set to go. Row number 7 will see Charles Finelli in the Fat Boy Racing number 83 start 14th alongside the young Canadian pilot Antonio Serravalle, the number 91 for Exclusive Autosport. Row number 6, Chris Wright in the 78, starting 12th for BN Racing. Alongside him for Cape Motorsports, the number 8, the Mazda Road to Indy veteran Nikita Listoshkin. Into the top 10 now, row number 5 for RP Motorsport Racing, the squad that has won 2 races this year. The Italian Lodovico Lorini in the 27 will start in 10th, alongside Stingray Robb in the number 82. Stingray out of Idaho. Into row number 4 now, Andres Gutierrez in the Team Pelfrey number 81 starting 8th. And on the inside, Carlos Cunha in the number 1 for Juncos Racing as he looks to go for his first win in Mazda Road to Indy competition. Row 3, Parker Thompson, a winner from Barber Motorsports Park in the Exclusive Autosport number 90. He'll start in the 6th position alongside Rinus VeeKay in the number 2. Rinus for Juncos Racing starting P5. Row number 2, we'll see Robert McGinnis on the outside, top qualifier for Juncos Racing in the number 9. He'll start 4th. Inside of that row for B-Ed Racing, David Malukas. Front row, 2 drivers, both looking for race wins. Harrison Scott in the number 10 for RP Motorsports Racing. As Kevin had said, race winner from yesterday, race winner from the wet event at Barber Motorsports Park. Harrison Scott has already made his name for himself in Pro Mazda. He is a championship contender from the get-go. But starting for the pole position, Oliver Askew, who won both races last year in USF 2000 en route to a championship in the series. He has the Soul Red Mazda scholarship colors on his car for Cape Motorsports. Oliver Askew, a 120.168. He will start on the pole position in that number 3. It'll be Askew and Scott on row 1, Malukas and McGinnis on row 2, VeeKay and Thompson on row number 3. Kevin, drivers lining up and getting set to go through turn number 12 and 13. We're about to roll things off for Pro Mazda.
This is
40-minute race.
This is like entertainment overload. We just finished one entertaining race. We're ready to go again, side by side with that thrilling run into turn number 1. Time for Pro Mazda.
Brand new race car. We are underway. Green flag being thrown. One couple drivers slow coming up the line. That was a 2 Rinus VeeKay. Contact coming to the line, guys. Couple drivers together, one of them slowing down here on track. So we had contact coming to the line when the green flag came out, Kevin. Another driver off in turn number 2 in the gravel trap of the exit. Some chaos to begin. Pro Mazda.
And through all of it, it appears that Oliver Askew has stayed out in front. Askew is the leader with debris on the front stretch. We'll wait and see if we can stay green or not. But Askew is the leader as they head down the Holman backstretch into turn number 7, and now a full course yellow.
One of the drivers involved in that incident coming to the green was Rinus VK, the young Dutch driver who finished second in the USF 2000 program last year. We'll get a replay of it coming on to the front straightaway here. Let's see if we can identify the contact as drivers swarm out. Someone came across right in front of Rinus VK. That was some pretty aggressive contact, Kevin.
That was a big hit. Somebody got at least 2 wheels up in the air.
Yeah, there was a driver who was up front who tried to come across from left to right, and there was obviously no room there. Immediate contact once they changed lanes. That's not something you need to be doing, is making that contact like that change like that. We'll see who's falling down the order. Rinus VK, definitely one of the drivers involved. Robert McGinnis potentially, and David Malukas as well.
Oh, McGinnis had problems yesterday also. What a rough weekend for him it's been.
3rd, 4th, and 5th on the grid, all involved here. David Malukas in the 79, Robert McGinnis in the 9, and Rinus VK in the number 2. Malukas able to get back around to the tail of the field. We have a driver off as well. I wonder if one of those drivers, the same driver off in turn number 2.
Yeah, I think that's where we're looking at McGinnis in turn 2. So Askew,
Indeed,
the leader, Cunha second, then Thompson, yesterday's winner Harrison, Scott, and Gutierrez, the top 5 under caution on lap 2 of the Pro Mazda race.
So if we figure out who came across, you have to think it was somebody from the outside, so it's going to be an even. So it's either going to be Robert McGinnis. It would have been Robert McGinnis, I believe, coming across from the outside of row number 2. He would have been the driver, came across very likely into either Malukas, probably into Malukas, and then, yeah, probably cross into Malukas and then into Rinus VK. That would be the chain reaction based on what we're seeing from the grid and the limited view that we got on the replay.
So much jockeying for position on that front stretch, trying to set yourself up with multiple options going into turn 1. Some want the inside, some want the outside, and you're looking for open space. Here's another look of the start. So look back to rows 2 and 3. And then everyone checking up right behind them.
Trying to pick up the cars that were involved. Rinus VK, of course, he's the driver that came to a stop on the front straightaway. His team actually right there to look over the car, over the cement wall and start finishing and see the look. And that was actually in that video, right at the bottom, was actually Ricardo Juncos right there watching it all happen. Says a lot for Ricardo Juncos as well. He's got 3 races here this weekend, Pro Mazda, Indy Lights, and the Verizon IndyCar Series, and he's on pit lane with his Pro Mazda team to start this race.
Very, very much involved. He's one of the great stories of the Mazda road to Indy. It's not just a feeder system for drivers, but for teams as well. And he lived a dream fielding cars in the Indianapolis 500 last year, and this season he's pretty close to full time with an entry and competing also in the 500 with Kyle Kaiser. So the 81 of Gutierrez is going to flip positions with Lorini, the 27. So move Lorini back up into 5th, and Gutierrez will swap to 6th.
So flying past us there on the front straightaway was Robert McGinnis at speed. So within all that contact that we saw, Kevin, on the front straightaway, he is still fine. The only driver really with any issues right now is Rinus VK.
Unfortunately for McGinnis, though, he's going to be a lap down.
Also being told that they're going to move Charles Finelli in the 83 in front of the 8 of Nikita Listoshkin. So some shuffling in the order now based on race control. It will be, I believe, a single file restart when we get back at it. We did see the green at start finish. Oliver Askew able to defend at least the initial chaos at the start of this race. He is your leader under caution.
Well, we talked yesterday that drivers are more likely to be a little more aggressive in race number 2. They've gotten through race 1. and either they've gotten a result or it didn't go well, and they become a little bit more desperate. So it's not surprising that you see some things happen in race number 2. And now we'll get an always entertaining restart coming up here in a bit.
Askew again has defended restarts here already. Last year, 2 big victories in USF 2000. Those victories helped propel him to the championship in the series and the Mazda scholarship for this year. He runs those soul red colors up front, the Mazda logo emblazoned on the side of that Tatis PM18, the brand new race car that we have breaking track records everywhere we go. Shot there on the big screen, Arenas VK already out of the car. You can see the disappointment on his face. A young driver who impressed last year in USF 2000. His consistency, his ability to finish races, and to see that race come to an end before he really even got to the start-finish line. He was already in the wall at that point. Just some drivers getting over-anxious. I would really, and I'm sure that we'll see it through social media on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, but I would love to see some in-car from further back to find out actually who made the moves, which drivers did advance. When we do go back to green, Oliver Askew will be the leader. Carlos Cunha from Juncos Racing in second. Parker Thompson from Exclusive Autosport in third. Yesterday's winner, Harrison Scott from RP Motorsport Racing, will be P4 in the order. His teammate Lodovico Lorini in fifth. Andres Gutierrez sixth. Antonio Saravalli in seventh. Stingray Robb eighth. Chris Wright ninth. Charles Finelli in 10th. Nikita Listoshkin 11th. David Malukas in 8th and Robert McGinnis in 9th. A couple of very fast drivers at the tail of the field.
The safety trucks have pulled away from the main straightaway, and we're going to go back to green flag racing this next time by. They're lined up coming through turn 10. The south end on the oval, that's the turn 2. Headed the opposite direction. 4 laps will be complete, ready to go racing again in Pro Mazda on IndyCar Grand Prix Day.
Restart crucial here for Oliver Askew. He is trying to essentially kickstart his 2018 season. Has not got off to a great start here in Pro Mazda. Not the same kind of launch he had last year when he won the USF 2000 title. He'll get on the throttle coming out of turn number 14. Green flag will fly here at start-finish, back underway with Pro Mazda. Carlos Cunha in the draft. Right down to the wall. They're 4 wide further back. They're making it exciting. Coming down into, again, turn number 1 and 2.
And I think Cunha got around to the front. The green and white car from Juncos gets around.
They were 4 wide, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, and that was the aggression of McGinnis and Malukas trying to get by. That's what that was. They were going aggressive to get by those guys to make sure they were clear into turn 1.
So a very impressive restart. Now let's see what we have into turn number 7, a battle for second position.
Harrison Scott on the outside, trying to come through turn 7 over to turn number 8. I think Scott slotted back into third. Not sure if he was alongside quite enough.
And somebody might have even touched in the grass a little bit, but they maintain their way through 7. Cunha, the leader, with about a 6-car length gap. And then there's some contact back there for 4th position. And someone has to go through the runoff.
That was turn number 12. Cuts the track across the runoff to turn 13. Going to fall well back. I wonder if that's Harrison Scott. It's either Scott or Lodovico Lorini. It's Lorini. He fell back to 10th position. Lorini was up there in 5th battling. It's Carlos Cunha, Parker Thompson, Harrison Scott, Oliver Askew, and Andres Gutierrez, your top 5. Kevin, tough one there. Tough start for Oliver Askew, falling back to 4th.
Big changes. And the 27 car, Lorini, we mentioned, with the issues. So Cunha with just a little bit of a gap on Thompson. Front three have checked out a little bit, then the next three, and still see some side-by-side racing back for position, headed into 7.
That's David Malukas. He is very aggressive, working his way forward, was 9th across the line, was making a move on Chris Wright, his BN Racing teammate. Malukas trying to recover.
We know he's fast, so he may be fun to watch in the 79 car coming through the field.
Carlos Cunha, I believe, leading for the first time here in Pro Mazda competition. Was kind of the best of the rest last year in the Pro Mazda series.
The two Pelfrey cars have been mixing it up a little bit there for 5th position.
That's Andres Gutierrez and Stingray Robb. That was a team that Carlos Cunha ran with last year. He was battling against Victor Franzoni and Anthony Martin for that championship. Good little fight, as we said, between those brilliant yellow cars of Robb and Gutierrez.
Side by side into 1. That's dicey with teammates. They'll stay side by side through 2.
Giving each other enough room, but if you're the team manager there, Johnny Baker probably having a bit of a heart attack watching those drivers go side by side through 1 and 2. That's the battle for 5th and 6th.
I think Gutierrez has the advantage right now.
Front 3 drivers checking away, though. Carlos Cunha in the 1, Parker Thompson in the 90, and Harrison Scott in the number 10. It's like Askew potentially alone in that 4th position. Then there's that battle between the two Pelfrey cars. Oh, huge news coming in from race control, Kevin. Drive-through penalty for Oliver Askew. Avoidable contact. That's one of those penalties. We saw it before yesterday. Drivers getting pushed to the tail of the field. Here comes Askew into pit lane now.
So that moves the Pelfrey cars up to 4th and 5th as they continue to wage war. Headed down nearly side by side into 1. The 81 car of Gutierrez is on the inside. Stingray Robb trying the long way around.
I think we have a pass for 2nd. I believe Harrison Scott to the inside of Parker Thompson. Indeed, he's through. Harrison Scott takes 2nd, but it's a long, slow crawl down pit lane for Askew. He's going to need a yellow flag to get him back in the fray at all. Cunha's lead about 0.4 of a second. Good fight for 2nd and 3rd. Yeah, look at this battle. That's for 5th, 6th, and 7th. That's Robb, Wright, and Saravalli, I believe. Too wide through turn number 7. Oh, the Pro Mazda drivers going at it. The 2nd rung on the Mazda road to Indy. These drivers racing for almost $800,000 in scholarship to go run Indy Lights racing next year.
So Gutierrez and Robb were going at it side by side for multiple laps, but now Gutierrez has gapped, and now Robb has others fighting for position.
Yeah, Lodovico Lorini in the RP Motorsports car off in turn number 7. They were battling it out there for that position. I believe that was the fight with Chris Wright, Saravalli, Lorini off at 7.
Gutierrez, by the way, just turned the fastest lap, 1:21.3. He's running in 4th position right now.
You know, he had that battle going with Stingray Robb, his teammate, and I have to feel that because they were racing so hard together, they weren't able to have those nice wide open laps. They weren't able to get the right entry point. They were maybe pinching the exit. They were defending, but he's turned some good laps. Andres Gutierrez, driver who had a lot of success in IMSA as well in the Prototype Challenge, coming over here to the Pro Mazda Series, led at Barber Motorsports Park before going off in race number 2.
Reports of some fluid on track in turn 7, and I think we saw Scott and Thompson waging some more going into 7. Cunha has a little bit more of a gap for the lead. Closest battle up front is for 2nd. Harrison Scott, Parker Thompson.
Carlos Cunha, the Brazilian driver, 2nd year in this Mazda Road to Indy, 2nd year in Pro Mazda, but last year on the old car. So the new car this year, he's getting transitioned in a new team as well, Hukos Racing. His teammates, Rinus VK and Robert McGinnis, both out. So Carlos Cunha carrying the Juncos Racing flag well out front. But Harrison Scott's coming up. Kevin, you talk about the momentum and the confidence of a young driver scoring race wins. Harrison Scott dominated last year in the Euro Formula Open Series in Europe, and then was able to get his first victory for RP Motorsports at Barber Motorsports Park. He wins yesterday. This kid's got the confidence right now. He's getting more comfortable being here in the U.S., being part of this program. Comfort plus confidence plus momentum. That's a pretty tough formula.
Yeah, he's going to make a run for it if he can stay within range of Cunha, so this one is far from done. And we've got a car slowing and pulling off into the grass.
Race control telling the number 27 of Lodovico Lorini to park the car. I believe he is the driver, potentially dropping oil, dropping fluids down. He's been told to park the car, and he does so on the inside of, I believe, turn number 11. I think coming out of turn 10, inside turn number 11, he's been told to park the car. He does so. Unsure if that car there will bring out any kind of a full course yellow, but he is to the inside of the racetrack on a part of the track where you're not really going to be racing anyways.
Correct.
So a pretty safe spot for him. Potential issue here for Harrison Scott, slowing coming down the front straightaway. Indeed, Harrison Scott slowing on the front chute. Parker Thompson alone now in second. Gutierrez into third. Stingray Robb now fourth. Full course yellow. Full course yellow on the racetrack. I'm not sure if that's for Lodovico Lorini. It must be for Lorini, stopped on the racetrack, Kevin.
Well, that's the car that we saw pull off to the inside, so they have determined that that is not quite safe enough, so they let them race through turn one more time, and they'll go ahead and go full course caution to remove the 27.
That's going to help David Malukas. It's going to help Oliver Askew as well. That drive-through penalty put him down into 11th position. He was 38 seconds behind the leaders. That deficit will be erased as we go back to single file and then back to green flag racing. Still a lot of time left, 15 laps to go.
And there are some fast cars at the back. Robert McGinnis just turned the fastest lap of the race, but he's a lap down, so the caution doesn't do enough for him. But Askew and Malukas back there will be able to pick up some positions. 11 laps complete. Carlos Cunha is the leader in Pro Mazda in day 2 of the IndyCar Grand Prix.
Harrison Scott now coming down pit lane, Kevin. We were alerted that he slowed on the straightaway. No visible damage as he crosses by us here in the PA booth. But Harrison Scott will come to the attention of his crew on pit lane. Yesterday's winner looked to have a pretty good race car again. He had closed up on Carlos Cunha, and I would have to say only a matter of time before he challenged potentially for the lead.
Yeah, he was quick. That takes out one of the contenders, so it opens the door for others like Parker Thompson, Andres Gutierrez, maybe Stingray Robb.
Team Pelfrey with 2 cars now in the top 5. Andres Gutierrez in the number 81 and Stingray Robb in the 82. As I had said, good to see Andres Gutierrez come into the Mazda Road to Indy. He's had much success in the IMSA WeatherTech Series, running in the Prototype Challenge program. Cousin to Pato O'Ward.
And we'll get back to racing very quickly. They'll go green this next time by as we look at Harrison Scott's car parked for the moment on the pit lane.
Like they're trying to get the side cowl off. He'd slowed pretty abruptly coming down the front straightaway. Team going to work, looking inside the engine bay of the number 10 for Harrison Scott. He'll remain in the car. Camera crew doing a great job giving us a shot here for the viewers on the Mazda Road to Indy app or those here on the big screen.
Meanwhile, the field is coming through 13. Cunha, Thompson, Gutierrez, Robb, and Wright ready to go racing again in Pro Mazda with 12 laps complete.
back to green, and Andres Gutierrez with a pretty good run. So does Parker Thompson. He'll try to tuck up under the gearbox. Thompson looks to the outside. Not quite. Tucks back in. Cunha, your leader. Thompson to second. The two Pelfrey cars of Gutierrez and Rob right there. Chris Wright in the 78 getting at it as well.
Thompson is still there, though. He may have a look at the end of turn number 7 as they go through 6.
I don't think Thompson got through 6 very well. I think he's going to be on the defense because here comes Gutierrez. Yeah, Gutierrez is going to try the outside. Chris Wright getting really aggressive on Stingray Rob as well.
Look at this.
All that jostling and no change in the order coming out of the corner. Number 91 went off in turn number 1. That's Antonio Saravalli off in 1 in the number 91.
And he's still parked there at the exit at 2, so we'll keep an eye on that as the field makes their way through turn number 12 with Cunha pulling Thompson, Gutierrez, Rob, and Wright.
So we'll find out where that car is, whether or not we need to go full course yellow here. Not at this point. Crossed halfway, flags being shown. Driver already out of the car over in turn number 1. So it sounds like Saravalli may have parked the car somewhere
In a safe location.
There he is,
there
right
you go.
here. Yeah.
Past
So
the runoff.
issue with Saravalli. He parks the car past the runoff. We stay green. Cunha with a 0.6 of a second lead last time by on Parker Thompson. Pretty good cold tire laps here for Carlos Cunha. Tires, of course, cooling down a bit on that caution period, but able to really jump out to a nice little advantage.
But David Malukas back up to 5th position.
Getting by his teammate, Chris Wright. Malukas not done. He's going to go to the inside of Stingray Rob. Watch out for David Malukas now. He is on a charge.
And Oliver Askew last time by went by in 7th. We'll see if he can get back up into contention.
This is one of these races, Kevin, that really kind of flip-flops the championship chase. Harrison Scott had a win yesterday. He looked like he was in a good position to really tighten things up. He gets a DNF. Marinas VK was right there in the top 5. He won both races at the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. He's got a DNF here in round number 6. So things really shaking around. And you and I talked earlier today about the need for consistency. You got to be able to stay on track, not just as a driver, but as a team as well.
Oliver Askew moves up one more spot to 6th, chasing Malukas, Stingray Rob, Andres Gutierrez, Parker Thompson, and Carlos Cunha, the leader. 14 completes out of 25, or 16 plus minutes remaining in Pro Mazda at Indianapolis.
Cunha and Thompson running the same lap times last time by, so that half-second gap between the two remains the same. They've built about a 1.3 second advantage over Gutierrez. Stingray Rob back into 5th as Malukas now into 4th. $14 down, 11 to go. Still about 16 minutes remaining in the run. Carlos Cunha looking to win his first ever Mazda Road to Indy event. Numerous podiums last year for Team Pelfrey in Pro Mazda. Has yet to taste the champagne. Could today be the day for the Brazilian? Cunha leading over Thompson. Another driver out in turn number 7 behind the wall. Local yellow. That is the 78 of Chris Wright.
And one of the Pelfrey cars, Stingray Rob, got back around Malukas, so Malukas drops the spot back to 5th. So the Pelfreys are running, well, according to timing and scoring, 3 and 4, but no, we see there on the monitor that they're still 3rd and 5th, so that's Malukas still in the 4th position.
Parker Thompson starting to close up a bit on Carlos Cunha as well. Great battle as well. Oliver Askew right there, trying to close back up. Another penalty being laid down for the number 8, this time Nikita Listoshkin. Both Cape drivers getting drive-through penalties. Oliver Askew got his already. Now it's Nikita Listoshkin in the number 8. Avoidable contact drive-through penalty will likely drop him down into the 9th position. Actually, may not change much for him because Chris Wright's off the racetrack as well. Had some attrition in this one. An incident early, took out Renus VK. Some mechanicals have dropped Larini, Scott, and Cervali off track.
Thompson is, I think, going to take a look for the lead on Cunha going into turn number 1. He was right on the rear wing.
And he is through. Parker Thompson has taken the lead in Pro Mazda here at Indy. You called it. He turned the fast lap of the race. Coming by the stripe, Kevin. The speed was there, and he made that nice move to the inside.
So Parker Thompson now leading at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in Pro Mazda, trying to pull a little bit of a gap. No challenge for Cunha into turn number 7 this time. Gutierrez in 3rd. Malukas is within range to think about that just a little bit in 4th.
Thompson out to a nice little advantage, having taken the lead in turn number 1. I want to say about 6 or 7 car lengths as they come out of turn number 11 now over to turn 12. Thompson, your leader. Cunha 2nd. Gutierrez 3rd. Malukas in 4th.
And now Malukas, we're told, is off in turn number 7. He is the exit of 7 towards turn number 8. So David Malukas, who would charge back up into the top 5, is off.
Crazy race today. We've seen some drivers off the racetrack that we don't normally see, but Malukas in the 79 off as well. Thompson still leads. Cunha 2nd. Gutierrez 3rd. The number 1 of Carlos Cunha being told a warning for blocking. Not sure who he was blocking. I would have said probably Parker Thompson when he was behind him.
That'd be my guess. So that change for the lead as they battled going into turn number 1. Thompson ultimately did get the position.
Thompson with a decent advantage. 17 laps down, 8 remaining.
That battle for 3rd is heating up a little bit. 3rd, 4th, and 5th right there.
I'm wondering if is that the number 9 of McGinnis? We'll have a look as they come by here because they were saying live timing is seeing that the number 79 of Malukas off in turn number 7.
That makes sense. That's, I bet, the lap car of McGinnis.
Indeed it is.
It is. Okay, yeah. The green and white number 9 is between the 2 Pelfreys. So the Pelfreys do run 3rd and 4th, Gutierrez and Robb. Oliver Askew is up to 5th position with the trouble for Malukas, who is still shown parked out on the course around turn number 8. Now what McGinnis is doing, who has turned a couple of fastest laps recently, he's hoping to somehow get his way back past the leader, Thompson, and get on the lead lap and then find a caution to give him a chance to make up some laps in some positions.
Looks like Nikita Listoshkin actually potentially have parked that Cape Motorsports machine. He's on pit lane here now too, Kevin.
So we've got attrition. I think we've got 8 left, 7 on the lead lap right now.
So Listoshkin in, Malukas, Cervali, Scott, Larini, and VK all with trouble here today. 7 on the lead lap, 1 lap down. 1 driver, 1 lap down. And Parker Thompson, the number 90, continues to lead. Almost a full second the advantage for the young Canadian driver from Red Deer, Alberta. A winner at the Barber Motorsports Park, 3rd last year in the USF 2000 Championship. Running for Exclusive Autosport, Michael Duncalf's operation. Parker giving them their first USF 2000 Series wins in Toronto last year. Also provided them with their initial wins in Pro Mazda at Barber Motorsports Park. They've got 2 teams here this weekend, and they've got one up at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park in Canada, up at Mosport, running in the F1600 series up there this year.
Parker Thompson just threw down the fastest lap at 1:21.0. His lead is nearly 1.5 seconds on Carlos Cunha now. And we are inside 5 to go.
It's like the number 83 of Charles Finelli and the 78 of Chris Wright continuing. They're currently ending in 6th and 7th respectively. Parker Thompson, a very highly rated young driver from Alberta. Tremendous talent. 3 years in USF 2000 before moving here to Pro Mazda with Exclusive Autosports this year. Finished second in USF 2000 a couple of years ago to Anthony Martin. Third last year in USF 2000 and currently leading the way here in Pro Mazda. 1.7 seconds the advantage for Thompson over Cunha. Stingray Robb closing up to within 1/2 second to his teammate Andres Gutierrez. Stingray trying to get on the podium here at Indianapolis.
Robert McGinnis, that lap car, the green and white car for Juncos, has got in front of the second Pelfrey car. And Gutierrez has been warned for blocking his teammate. There's a battle for 4th position back there. Is that Askew trying to go around Robb? The pole sitter, penalized earlier, trying to make his way back up. Could not get him that time.
And that's tough for Stingray Robb as well, because he had closed right up on the rear gearbox of Gutierrez. And when you're focusing forward, trying to make that pass, you get someone behind you, that changes everything. You start thinking about holding on to your position, not gaining another one. Especially when it's a driver like Oliver Askew, who started on the pole position today. Drive-through penalty for avoidable contact has put him to the tail of the field, lucky to get the yellow flag, the full course yellow that allowed him to catch right back up. He was 38 seconds behind the leader at one point, now trying to fight his way into the podium.
And Thompson is running very consistent quick laps, another fast lap at 1:21.0.3, so just a few hundredths faster than last time by. And 1/2 second faster last time by than Cunha, who is running in second now, 2.2 seconds in arrears.
Drivers now working their way through that 7-8-9 complex. Thompson, the lap's winding down. It'll be 3 to go this time by.
And the third car that's chasing them is the number 9 of Robert McGinnis. He is 1 lap down. So for 3rd position, it's the yellow 81 of Gutierrez. 4th in line as you watch them come down the main straightaway here in just a moment. Parker Thompson across the line with 3 to go. Then Carlos Cunha. Then the lap car of McGinnis. Then the 2 Pelfrey cars of Gutierrez, Stingray Robb, and Oliver Askew in 5th.
Those 3 drivers separated by about 1 second. That's 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And thankfully, Robert McGinnis, actually with a great race car, able to get out in front of them, so he's not going to be part of that battle, not going to be part of the storyline for the final positions on the podium. Last time by, Stingray Robb 0.3 seconds faster than Gutierrez. Will we see a battle between the 2 teammates?
And how frustrating for Robert McGinnis, who's been quick, and I think was that him that just went around?
I believe Nikita Listoshkin back on track in the number 8 machine. He's just making room for them, making way as they come up Hellman Boulevard to turn number 7.
But McGinnis has been running comparable laps to the lead group, but off the pace a lap down early on.
Yeah, essentially the same lap times as his teammate Carlos Cunha, 1:21.5. So McGinnis had the pace, just the unluck to get involved in that incident early.
Coming up 2 to go this time. for Parker Thompson. As we watch IndyCar teams begin to get prepared for their final warm-up session is coming up 30 minutes from now. The final IndyCar practice at 11:15, 30-minute practice preparing for their race this afternoon. Green flag at just after 3:30. Lap and a half remaining in Pro Mazda here. The second of 3 races for the Mazda Road to Indy today.
Comfortable 2.5 second advantage now for Parker Thompson, the exclusive Autosport driver, the number 90. Trying to get win number 2 on the season. Carlos Cunha led early, but now runs second. Andres Gutierrez in third. Such deep talent in this Pro Mazda program. These drivers all focused on trying to get themselves into the Indy Lights Series over the next couple of years, potentially into the Verizon IndyCar program. Thompson will see the white flag. Brings the number 90 across. One more lap for the Canadian. Pretty wide gap so far. Let's have a look at that battle. Oliver Askew to within about 3 car lengths as they get down into turn number 1.
Askew's taking a peek. I don't know if he's close enough this time, but he's going to have one more run into turn number 7.
They're right there. Stingray Robb right on the gearbox of his teammate Gutierrez. Oliver Askew right there too.
That's 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Parker Thompson is cruising in front. Carlos Cunha safely in 2nd. The 2 Pelfrey teammates, Gutierrez and Stingray Robb in the yellow cars, battling for 3rd with the sole red of Oliver Askew, trying to chase them down. Final real chance right there. 3rd, 4th, and 5th. The 2 Pelfreys side by side battling. Askew right there trying to pounce.
Not sure if Stingray Robb was able to get by or not, but they were side by side through 7, almost side by side through turn 8. You can't do that in turn 9. One driver had to give it up. But here comes Parker Thompson out of turn 12 and 13. He won at Barber Motorsports Park. Ladies and gentlemen, what a race here. Attrition filled. The winner at Pro Mazda, Parker Thompson at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Thompson wins race number 2. The battle for this final position on the podium goes to Stingray Robb. Able to get by on the final lap, a solid move to the inside at turn number 7. Kevin able to hold him off. They were side by side through 8. Stingray Robb wanted this podium, and he gets the job done. There's the celebrations at Exclusive Autosport.
And Oliver Askew got by the 2nd Pelfrey car, so the pole sitter who had the early drive-through penalty races back to 4th position. But the day belongs to Parker Thompson, a winner in Pro Mazda at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
We had a bit of troubles earlier this week with a car part failure to no fault of Elite Engines or my crew. They had to work their absolute butts off to get the car back just into Q2. We didn't qualify great. We qualified 11th and 6th, but to come away with a top 5 and then a win today is just unbelievable. Thank you so much, Exclusive Autosport and Elite Engines. You guys did awesome. I wouldn't be here without you.
How's it feel to win at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Parker?
It feels amazing. I mean, we've got Royal Purple here sponsoring the event with in partnership with Lupus, so it's great to have them on board for this race and dedicate this to them. And then not only Mazda and Cooper Tires, they're always on board. Thank you to them. It feels great to win at Indy. I mean, this is the racing capital of the world, so to get a win here, I'm absolutely elated.
Parker Thompson leaves Indianapolis with a victory. We'll see in a few weeks on the oval.
Thank you very much, Tony.